The views and opinions expressed on Around the Town are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the faculty, staff, and students at Elizabeth City State University or ECSU Radio and Television Services.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Hez Brown. And now your host, Hezekiah Brown.
Good evening. This is Around Town with Hez Brown. We are so glad to have the listening audience to listen to our program. And we say this and we say it at the beginning of every program. This is the place where you get the news that you cannot get anyplace else. WRVS 89.9 FM. As you know, I give a few nuggets out each time before we get started here. And my favorite topic, as you all know, is conflict resolution. I've been doing this for almost 50 years now. And I just try to give a few nuggets. And the nuggets that I'm going to talk about today is not to give any but one resolution to what I think is a major problem. As you know, conflict is rampant, not only in the United States, but around the world. There's not one single time that you can read the newspaper or watch television or have a conversation that somebody's not talking about some kind of violent crime that has taken place somewhere in the schools, somewhere in the community, someplace in the corporate world. It's just so rampant. And it's almost like we want to just keep a lid on it and don't want anybody to know it in a sense. But it is here. And I have been trying to figure out how do we address this problem? Because you know what? People seem to be reluctant to talk about solutions. They always are good at talking about what the problem is and become part of making problems, but don't talk about solutions. So one of my solutions is this, it's just one of a many. But the day I'm going to talk about today is being able to have conflict resolution as part of the school curriculum. Make it mandatory that children from K through 12 start to learn at an early age how to resolve conflict. What's the significance of that? Here's the significance of that is that if they learn conflict and learn it K through 12, it's like learning to swim or learn to ride a bike. You never forget it. And so when all our students go to high school, go to college, and get out into the real world, and they don't have any life skills, which I call people skills, how do you get along with the person you work with? How do you resolve conflict? How do you do that without being violent? So I just want to say that the main thing I think is part of ways to resolve this is to start teaching kids at an early age how to resolve conflict. We can no longer rely upon them learning at home because a lot of homes that young people are leaving from, they fighting at home. They don't know how to resolve conflict. And these same kids come into the school and they think that that's how you resolve conflict is by being violent. So we want you to understand that we have to start to do this, and I'm rallying people now. Conflict resolution is part of the school curriculum. All right, thank you. Now, we have a special guest here today that we're so happy to have. She has a very important job in our community. She does an outstanding job at what she do. I just wonder sometime, does she have another life other than the Chamber of Commerce? And we have with us today specialist Miss Holly Staples, who is president and CEO of the Elizabeth City Chamber of Commerce. Is that correct?
That is correct,
Yeah.
Except I will say it's the Elizabeth City Area Chamber of Commerce because we serve the larger Pasquotank County area as well as Camden County.
Thank you for that correction. Elizabeth City Area Chamber of Commerce, which makes it better and more expanded and expanded, yeah. But good evening, Holly. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me today, Hez.
Well, we're just so happy to have you and so glad to have you right before Christmas. It's always good to have you here for this program. And we're going to just have, as I said again, this is really not like what they call an interview. This is really like a conversation that we're just going to talk a little about you and about the chamber, the extended area chamber that we want to talk about. But just tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all. You have children.
Yes, as you mentioned, of course, my name is Holly Staples, and I am the president and CEO of the Elizabeth City Area Chamber of Commerce. On a personal note, I do have 2 adult children, daughters. One works in the Currituck County school system, and she's planning a wedding for June, so we are very excited about that. So yes, I do have a bit of a life outside of the chamber, as hard as that can be to balance sometimes. But we're planning a wedding for this spring. And then I have another daughter. She is a junior in college up at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, and she is studying accounting.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Now, everybody know, and I ask everybody the same question, They want to know, are you an outsider? Or were you bred and born in Elizabeth City?
I am a native of this area, Hez. I was born and raised in Camden County, and with the exception of going away to college to East Carolina University, I've lived in this area my entire life. So I have a real passion for the area.
Yeah. So do you live in Elizabeth City, or
I still live in Camden, yes.
See, even though you live in Camden, you like I am, I came from a long ways, but you're still an outsider. That's what they say, you're an outsider, Yeah. I know that I know it's a fact, we met a long time ago that you've been associated with the chamber for a long, long period of time. Mm-hmm. And what did you start out at? What were you when you first entered the chamber? What were you?
I first started out at the chamber, it's been over 20 years ago.
Wow.
Actually, I was there for about 18 months in between the births of my 2 daughters. I worked there part-time, and I actually started out as a temporary receptionist. Wow. And moved into being the office manager before I left after that tenure. And then when my younger daughter was born, I took some time off to be at home with my daughters, and came back in 2003, and so I've been there ever since.
That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. I'm just saying, you started out, you say, as a temporary receptionist.
Yes.
And now you are the.
And now, yes, I've kind of grown the role over the years. Started out as receptionist, was put in the office manager position after proving myself, and then just kept on adding responsibilities, expanding my role. I became business manager, then was eventually named vice president. And about 2 years ago, when the president's job opened up, I was named president.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I knew that you were applying for the job, and I was out rooting for you because I often say I like to know people in high places. Yes,
well,
wonderful.
Thank you for that.
But I'm happy about that, Now, you said, how long have you been president?
Just about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm. 2 years. So I know that the Chamber of Commerce is certainly not a 9-to-5 job.
Oh, no.
It carries a lot of other responsibilities, and you have to, we were talking earlier about relationships. But in your job, I think one of the key things is relationships.
It is all about the relationships, Hez. Mm-hmm. You can't have a successful business organization like the Chamber without cultivating relationships with your partners and your members every day.
Because, I say to folks all the time, I say, the number one thing about success is relationships. And not only relationship, but knowing how to just mingle with people, how to get along with people, mm-hmm. and how to manage an operation. So you had an opportunity to prove to yourself all along, when you first came. I know, when you first came there, did you ever think that, one day I'm going to be president of the chamber?
No, I never imagined that.
You just
never imagined that. But I've had some great bosses and coworkers through the years. Rhonda Twitty, who's the former president of the chamber, she is a mentor and good friend of mine, and she has taught me so much and continues to teach me so much. She's a valuable asset, not only to me, but to this entire community. She's mentored many successful people in this community. And so I learned a lot from her, learned a lot from my coworkers throughout the years, former bosses. I've been able to take at least a little piece away from everyone that I've encountered.
You know what, Holly, I think that, I'm just impressed by what you just said. But I somewhat feel the same way. Every job I ever worked, I didn't go on the job I just wanted to do a good job at what I was doing.
Right.
And when you do a good job at what you're doing, you don't have to apply for a promotion. You get the promotion.
People notice, yes.
That's what I'm saying,
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that's the always been my philosophy, and I try to tell young people all the time that you just go and do the job that you were hired to do and try to do a little bit more than they expect you to do. You don't have to worry about getting fired. You don't have to worry about promotions. You don't worry about anything, But it's so important.
And treat people right. That's the very important thing.
That's the bottom line. So now, would you explain to the audience the mission of the chamber?
Our mission is very simple. It is to promote business development in Elizabeth City, Pasquotank County, and Camden County. And we do that in a variety of ways. Most of what you see publicly is our promotion and referral of businesses. But we also advocate for policies that favor business climate. We work one-on-one with businesses to help them develop a marketing plan. We work with our partners to offer classes and resources to small businesses. And we support activities that support workforce development, economic development, and leadership development activities.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So you have programs like marketing programs for example, if a person just going in business, and they would come and say, I want to join the chamber. Do you have programs for people who are just starting out businesses?
Right. We have people come to us all the time who have either, an idea in its very infancy for a business, a cool idea, or, maybe they've decided to take that leap and they've, created something, bought some inventory, have gone into business, and they're suddenly like, oh gosh, I'm not sure what to do. And they'll come into our doors, and at that point, we actually work with our partners at the ECSU Small Business Technology Development Center, the COA Small Business Center, and the Eastern Women's Entrepreneurship Center. We refer them there because they can really help these businesses that are in their infancy, help them develop a business plan. And at that point, once they kind of get their feet under them a little bit, they can become chamber members when they're ready to be promoted to the general public. We don't want to put anyone out there who is not ready to receive their customers.
So you kind of mentor the businesses, or
yes, that is one of the things that we offer.
And help them along the way,
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I'm hope the audience is listening to this, because I hear so many folks says, well, I want to go in business, but I don't know why. I don't know how and don't know what to do. Well, I'm telling you right now, you hear it here on Around Town with Hez Brown. The Chamber of Commerce is a place to start. And so if you're going to start a business, or if you have a business, it is so important to be able to have this kind of resource available to us. So now, do you have a board of directors? Are you just a CEO and you just run everything? Do you have?
I do have bosses in the form of our board of directors. We have a board that is composed of voting and ex officio board members. We have 11 regular voting board members, and they represent various sections of the business community. However, we also think it's important to give a seat at the table to the partners in our community. So we have ex officio representatives from our institutions of higher learning, our public school systems, our Coast Guard, our hospital, Centera Albemarle Medical Center, and also our partners at the City of Elizabeth City, Pasquotank County, the Economic Development Commission, Elizabeth City Downtown, Visit Elizabeth City. All of those organizations are our partners.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Now, of course, there's some consumers around. And so the question I want to ask you now is that there are people who will never be in business. They will never have any reason to join the chamber. Just tell me, what is a benefit to those who are consumers who might not want to go in business? Is there some benefit the chamber can do to help them?
We actually pride ourselves on being a community resource while also helping businesses. That goes really hand in hand. We have so many great businesses and organizations in this area that have so much to offer, and we want to make the general public aware of them. So while we are promoting the business, at the same time, we're making the public aware of all the products and services available, as well as all of the neat things to do around here. In addition to that, many people call us looking for a referral. We get calls every week. Who can help me with home repairs or a legal issue, or I need a realtor? And we love being able to tell people, hey, you need to call this person and you'll be in really good hands. And that goes back to the relationship piece. You know, we have relationships with all of our members. And so when someone calls us looking for someone to help them, we can connect them with the right person. And it's really exciting to be able to make those connections. In fact, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to be able to connect someone who has a need with someone who can help them, because you're helping both the public and your business.
And then, do you have a website that that someone could go to also and extract this information? Or
our website is elizabethcitychamber.org, and we have a lot of great resources on it.
Give it to Elizabeth City.
It is elizabethcitychamber.org.
Okay, you got that.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We'll ask her again before, in case you didn't have a pen and pencil available. But you need to know that number, because, like I said, again, a lot of times we go to the yellow pages or other pages. But if we have a service year that doesn't cost anything we can use, then we certainly need to be using that service for that, because I would assume that many of your the businesses and members of the chamber are local people. So,
yes.
we encourage people to shop locally.
That's right. That's right. And another way that we serve the community at large is that we have a large volume of people who are relocating here to this area, whether they are retiring here, it's a job transfer, they're a Coast Guard transfer. They will call us and say, how do I have my power turned on? Who do I go to get my hair cut? And so we are reaching those newcomers to our community as well. So that's also a community resource that we offer. And then, we actually have some kind of regulars who call us who they don't know where to find a certain piece of information anywhere else. And they'll call us knowing that, the nice ladies at the chamber are going to do their best to get them the answer, whether it's business related or not, whether we're referring a business or not, we're going to try to help you.
Wonderful. So how many do you have on your staff, that to aid and assist you in doing this kind of activity?
I have 3 staff members. We have Anya Davis, who is our membership director, and she is wonderful at relationship building and management with our members. She is just amazing. In fact, all of our staff at the chamber is amazing. In addition to Anya, we have Trinity Higginbotham. She is our marketing and events manager, so she handles our social media, all of our outside communications, our monthly e-newsletter, and she does a wonderful job with that. And Roberta Pfeiffer is our office manager, and she really she keeps us all straight.
Okay.
She does accounts receivable, accounts payable, and really handles a lot of the nuts and bolts of what it takes to run the chamber on a day-to-day basis.
So how many is on the board of directors of the chamber?
We have 11 voting board members, and as I mentioned, they come from a wide variety of different sections of the community. And then I mentioned, our ex officio members. There's about 13 of those from our partners in the community.
Mm-hmm. And who's the chairperson now?
Our current chairperson for 2019 is Don Prentice. He's an attorney with Hornthal, Riley, Ellis, and Mayland. Right. He is getting ready to retire at the end of this year from being board chair. And our chair-elect for 2020 is Annalisa Morgan. She's the market president for BB&T Bank in this area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful.
And Don has provided excellent leadership over this past year, and I'm looking forward to Annalisa putting on her stamp on things as well next year.
Wonderful. Okay.
She's great.
Now, again, like everything else, that we have, and everything is good, sometimes it costs money. Is there a fee to join the chamber?
There is a fee. We are actually a nonprofit organization, so we do have to charge a fee for membership, and that varies depending on the size of your business. Typically, we go by employee count. If you are a restaurant, it's by seat, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, if I have 10 employees and somebody else have 25, it's based on
It's based on, yes, the employee count, and it's just a slight difference.
Yeah. I can say this to you. I tell you, it's one of the greatest investments you can make if you're in business because you get a lot of, I think they do give their members some advertisement. Do you do that?
Yes. We give a lot of exposure to our members. You know, if you join us, we are going to be constantly referring you and promoting you. We have a large and growing Facebook following. And, one of the most effective things that we can do is share a post that you've created. Right. And then we also have a monthly e-newsletter that is free to share the latest happenings with your business, any sort of announcements that you'd like to make. We're happy to promote those for you.
Yeah. So now how does one join the chamber?
Well, anyone can join the chamber, and it's very easy. All you have to do is contact us. You can call us at 335-4365, or you could stop by our office at 502 East Ehringhaus Street. Mm-hmm. We're just one block up from the waterfront at the corner of Ehringhaus and McMorran, and just stop in to visit us, and we'd love to see you and try to help you out.
Okay. No, as I said again, life itself is about, relationships, and then comes networking.
Yes.
And I think the networking part is really, really important to do. And would you explain to the audience, how the chamber, what do you do to encourage the networking?
Networking is a big piece of what we do, and we typically have anywhere from 2 to 4 networking events each month. And we try to hold them at different times of the day so that no matter what your schedule is, hopefully you'll be able to come to at least one of them per month. We have Coffee with the Chamber each month on the second Friday at 8 a.m. The location rotates. Sometimes we have it at the chamber, but more often we go to a business that serves coffee. So we've been to Muddy's, we've been to Flower Girls, to Dunkin' Donuts. This coming month in January, we'll be at Burger King. Mm-hmm. And, that's fun because we like to, it's good to get off site and away from the chamber building. And it's great to bring business to those businesses. Yes, that is something that is very important to us. And I'll say that Coffee with the Chamber is really one of our more low-key events. If you've never been to a networking event and you're a little bit daunted by the prospect of networking, this is a great event to come to. It's typically, I would say, anywhere from 15 to 20 people. There's no set program. You just kind of come in, you get your coffee, and you just kind of make conversation with the folks that are around. So that's one aspect. But isn't there some other networking you do, like for 2 or 3 times a year? You have networking events specifically around just bringing folks together to network. Typically, I just talked about Coffee with the Chamber being something that we have monthly. Another monthly event that we have is our Lunch Bunch business card exchange. And so we typically have anywhere from 25, we've actually had upwards of 40 people at some of them. But that is also a great way to get your card and your name in front of, about 30 people. And that's also, it's kind of a low-key event. We go to a restaurant, everyone sits down, we order, and then after that, everyone has a moment to stand up and talk about themselves and their business and what they offer. Everyone passes their business card around. So by the time you've left that day, you've introduced yourself to, 20 to 30 people, and you've left with all of their business cards. So you have sort of the foundation of a contact list of people that you can contact. And then other networking events that we have, we have business after hours and ribbon cutting events. And that depends, just on a business wanting to invite the chamber membership into their business to celebrate some sort of milestone. And those are typically, I would say we have between 50 and 75 people at those events. That's a little bit bigger. And then as you were mentioning, we have kind of larger networking events. Our biggest one would probably be our Business Expo, where we have a couple of hundred people mingling with each other. We have businesses who set up vendor booths. So we probably have about 50 vendors who are showcasing their goods and services. And then you have a couple of hundred people who are coming to visit with those vendors, but then also have the opportunity to network with each other. So we have many, many different types of ways to network.
Wonderful. I like the ribbon cutting. I've seen you at so many of these ribbon cuttings, either through the newspaper or just from knowing that it's taking place, and I know that has to be a great feeling, a ribbon cutting, it means that's a new business starting someplace or either transferring to a larger business.
Right,
so
right.
How do you feel and how do you make these things happen?
There are so many great things happening around here that we don't have to look very hard. Ribbon cuttings are some of my favorite things to do because they're celebrations. As you said, they're either celebrating the opening of a brand new business or maybe a milestone, a business that has been around for decades that wants to celebrate their anniversary, or maybe they've remodeled and moved into a bigger space because they've been so successful. And, I think it's really important to honor those occasions as a rite of passage for your business. And it also, as you mentioned, provides a great way to promote your business because we're promoting it from within the chamber. But many times, the newspaper is on hand to take a picture or to do a follow-up interview. So it's really a win-win for everyone.
Right. Because I don't think, again, for those who are just going in business or thinking about going in business, one of the most important thing about a business is you have to be able to market your product, no matter what it is. You got to market the product because you could have the best product in the world and don't nobody know about it. That's a different
right.
story. So this is another form of marketing for any member who want to join the Chamber of Commerce. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And it's all about exposure, getting people to know about your product.
Absolutely. And then, excuse me. And then, I think we covered this, but I think it's important that we do it again. I'm certainly aware that many members of the chamber organizations have professional development program. Because sometimes people, they have this idea or this dream, and they want to go in business, but they have no experience in terms of professional development, or people in business who need some additional advice and training on how to do that. Do you provide that service?
We do. We have a leadership development program. It is called Albemarle Leadership, and it is actually a collaboration between 6 chambers of commerce in our region because this area is so regional. We don't all live in a bubble in our small little town. This is definitely a regional area. And so we work with chambers in Currituck, Perquimans, Edenton, Bertie, and Ahoskie to offer this program. Participation is open to members of any of these chambers. It's 6 months in length. It goes from February through July, and each chamber organizes a day in their community to highlight what's important in their community, what their community has to offer that maybe these participants haven't had a chance to see or think about. For instance, our day last year here in Elizabeth City, we had the participants tour Elizabeth City State University. We went over to the new planetarium that had been renovated and had a great presentation there. We went over to College of the Albemarle and viewed a presentation on their health sciences program, which is huge. And we actually ended up the day at MacU, touring their facility and hearing some presentations from their different departments for the programs that they have to offer. And so as well as getting sort of a feel for each community, then there's also a bit of a leadership component with that. Some of the sessions included sort of like a personality analysis where a lot of people already kind of know what personality type they have, but maybe they need a little bit of help on how their personality type can deal with a different personality type. And so we have a lot of different types of those activities in the program as well.
And then Holly, I moved here in 2003. And when I came in, this place was growing like wildfire. You couldn't. We wanted to build a home, and we couldn't find a contract. Everybody was too busy, and
yes,
all these things.
I remember
was going
those
on.
days.
Right, and then all of a sudden, the bottom fell out of the economy. But now it seems like everything is growing at a pace that we can't hardly keep up with. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you are aware of that have taken place in 2019, or some things that might be on the horizon in 2020 that has to do with either the Chamber of Economic Development or some good positive things?
There are so many wonderful things to talk about that have happened or are on the horizon. The first thing to come to mind is with economic development and the expansion of some of the key companies in this area and all of the job creation. It's truly very, very encouraging to hear about the Telephonics expansion, the Hochmeyer expansion. It's my understanding that there's more of those to come, and job creation is so key in improving our economy. In addition to that, the downtown has just exploded with activity, with new businesses, and there's more coming all the time. And, that is really an area that has just really begun to flourish in the past couple of years. And I mean, it's going. It's continuing to roll. There are still, new businesses coming, new features that are going to be downtown that we're very, very excited about.
You know what's ironic about our Pasquotank County and surrounding areas is that everybody was concerned about what was happening outside of, not necessarily outside of Elizabeth City, but, the big box areas. But the thing that people don't realize, and you just pointed to that, is that we are growing internally and we're growing externally in a sense.
Yes.
Downtown is really coming back, is really, really on the move.
Yes.
And so is outside is on the move. And so that's to me, that's one of the greatest things that happen. And I don't think a lot of our people realize that these two things are not competing with each other, but they're growing.
They complement each other.
That's what I'm saying. So that's good. So I'm sure that the Chamber is participating in a lot of things to aid and assist these kind of activities. And not only that, but highlighting the great things that's happening in Elizabeth City. So it makes me feel proud again, as I did when I first came in, when I see the growth in here. I understand that theater is going to sooner or later be completed here.
Yes.
And it's not the fact that we don't have one already, but I think that it's going to add to that.
It will. We have a great theater already, but it's great that we're going to have another option.
That's right. It's called competition.
Yes.
Right. Okay. But Holly, listen, we just thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join with us on Around Town with Hez Brown. We appreciate all that you're doing in your role as the president and CEO of the Chamber, the area Chamber. We appreciate that so much. And so anything that we can do to aid and assist you on WRVS 89.9, just let us know if some great things are happening. You let us know when it's going to happen. We'll try to get them things on for you. But anyway, thank you so much. And you've been a great interviewer or participant.
Thank you so much, Hez, for having me on Around Town with Hez Brown. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about the Chamber. And thank you for being such a great host and putting me at ease. As we were talking about earlier, I've never been on the radio, so I was very, very nervous. And you've done a wonderful job at putting me at ease, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know when to quit when I'm ahead. But don't forget, this is Around Town with Hez Brown, and we are on the air on the first and third Wednesday at 6:30 at 89.9 FM. And then we're on again that same week, the first and third Sunday at 3 o'clock, 89.9 FM WRVS. And don't forget it, as Sheila Lee says, don't change that dial. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Around the Town with Hez Brown, recorded and produced at WRVS.